DA.
Hey.
Just start rapping.
He was about to go into a workflow right now. He was about to do rapping for everybody as we go live on Facebook.
We should do a freestyle podcast.
Yeah, bro. Look, man. The messed up part is that we download this and we make it a podcast. And so we rip the sound and make it a podcast, and then we just said that, and everybody's gonna be like, "What was he doing?"
What?
It's like when you're listening to a radio show and a bunch of people are laughing in the studio, and you're like, "But what's happening? What's happening?"
Funny. Yep.
Yeah, and then they're like, "Log into our webcam." Oh, screw you! I'm driving, dude. All right, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Take Action Podcast with David Adam Kurz. I'm glad that you guys made it. We are live on Facebook, and YouTube. The reason I say so many Facebooks is we have a couple groups on Facebook that are getting this live feed. Two of my favorite group, the Enterprise Group, which is made up of a lot of like-minded, amazing real estate professionals. And then I have my Veterans Turned Realtors Group, which I got a lot of love for as a veteran, where we collaborate on a high level as veterans in this real estate world, this crazy, crazy real estate business. And then, of course, it's on my personal and my other feeds. So, guys, if you have comments, questions, concerns, anything you want to ask Mr. Andy Rosas, who's on the show with us today. Andy is the Realtor Habit Expert. He is one half of the how-to guys, and definitely an amazing resource, an amazing coach, an amazing person to bring some great stuff to the table. And, you know, I don't think, you know, it's when you first launched this, or when I wouldn't say when you first launched this, because I didn't know you when you first launched it. You're like a 10-year success, right?
Oh, back in the 1900s.
Yeah, back in the day. But you know, when you did this, when I noticed who you were and I noticed what you were talking about, and you did come to our brokerage and talk about it, I found it really interesting that you would focus on one particular thing, which is habits. Where I coach, and when I coach on one particular thing. But for my thing, there's a lot of innuendos to it. There's a lot of steps to it. And my thing is massive growth, right? So, you know, I focus on the things that require you to have massive growth in a business, and you focus on the things that require you to have massive growth internally and externally as a person. And I thought that was kind of like taking what I was teaching and then like dialing it down even better. You know what I mean? And so I love what you bring to the table with habits, because habits are important. I think many of us often don't realize how important habits are. And we also don't realize that all of us do have habits. They just might not be good ones. And it's not because we chose to have bad habits. It's because that's how life laid it out for us, and we just went rolling with the punches. So, Andy, tell us a little bit about you. I feel like I gave you the full intro, but maybe I'm missing out.
I love it. But I want to wrap my name into this, though. We can't do that where I just wrap into it. AND to the Y ROSAS. I used to do that back in high school. So I'm glad I'm doing that.
I bet the girls loved it, bro.
Back in high, it was fantastic. But David, thank you so much.
I don't know why I just pictured you walking into high school and all the girls are like, Andy.
Oh my God, for sure. That was my freestyle with that, for sure. I love doing it.
Awesome.
Hey, David, man, I appreciate you having me on your show. And what you said is so true, because people talk about habits, you know, like a general broad stroke, and people don't really understand what habits are. People are like, oh, you do something for 30 days, it becomes a habit. Well, not really. There's a science behind what we do and who we are. And this journey of mine of habits became something of a life mission of mine, because I became wildly successful in my late 20s. I graduated college, right? I became a motivational speaker for the Zig Ziglars, Tony Robbins, all these programs, you name it. I spoke for them, trained for them, did sales for them. I sold programs that will blow you away. $5,000 programs, $50,000 programs on stage. Did that for my entire, like I'll call it from like 25 to about 31 years old, right? And then I quickly realized that everyone buying these programs, it didn't mean shit, David. Like all these programs didn't change lives, because you would sell programs on stage. People would buy from you, and then we would go back to those cities and those countries. We would go back a year later, and people were doing the same things. So in that business, we called it shelf help book. So behind me, that's what people do. They buy DVDs. Now I'm dating myself, right? Now, no more DVDs. But DVDs, CDs, we used to sell books, all that stuff, right? And yes, that has a place, but that's not the solution to changing people's behavior and actions. Because if you don't change your habits, all those books, all those DVDs, all those things that people are trying to buy, it doesn't work if you don't use it, right? Is what we like to say. So I got into real estate because I found that real estate agents have all these tools and resources to be wildly successful. You think of it, you name it, there's an app for it. There's so much information for it. It's amazing what access real estate agents have today. But the problem is not a lack of resources. It's not a lack of tools. It's a lack of habits, organizing their day in a way that they're able to learn more about the tools and resources that you give them, right? Because you've been building teams for a long time, David, so you know, right? You give your agents all the tools and resources to be successful.
Everything.
Yeah, right. And then you notice that the majority of them don't use those tools as they should be using them.
Right.
And it's not their fault. It has nothing to do with a lack of motivation or a lack of willpower that a lot of people think, oh, the agents just don't want it bad enough. And all. Well, maybe some of them don't, right? But a lot of us don't realize that we are a victim to our habits. We're building habits right now, whether you like it or not. So wouldn't you rather be the architect of those habits rather than the victim of them? That's a catchphrase we use in our business. So that's what started our journey getting into real estate, and has brought us to here, to now where it's taking off very well, because people are realizing, holy shit, I need better habits, right? I got all day to run my business as an agent, and that's a problem, right?
I feel like, and what you bring to the table is extra special, because I often tell the people that I work with, you're spending an abundant amount of time wasting time. Does that make sense to you? Right. Yeah. So you got 24 hours in a day, just like everyone else. So how are other people way more successful than you are? Right. And sometimes we tend to, and I'm going to put a lot of like little things that I often say, right? So I'm like grandpa, you know, my granddad used to say, right? So, you know, I always say we oftentimes compare our insides to other people's outsides, right? So meaning we see somebody and we're like, wow, that guy's massively successful. I wish I was successful like that guy, right? And you don't know what that guy's going through. He could have twice the amount of money as you and 3 times the amount of bills, you know? So you just don't know. And I think that when you take a step back and you prioritize your 24 hours and use them to the best of their ability, then you're winning at all levels, right?
Amen. Amen. And the biggest thing is here, and we'll get into the 5 habits on this episode. We're going to get into those. So definitely, if you're tuning in right now, don't worry. We're going to get to those 5 habits that you need to have. Every successful entrepreneur and every successful person in general has to have these 5 habits. So we'll get into that. But before we do, what David said is, listen, guys, this is key. And I know you'll make more money with better habits. I know you will, right? But I tell my students, listen, yes, you'll make more money. You'll drive a better car. You'll take more vacations. But the reasons why we love habits and why we love teaching habits so much, it's because when you teach someone to change their habits and they do the things they should be doing, a crazy thing starts to happen. That agent starts to believe in themselves. That agent begins to start loving themselves more. Now they're like, you know what? I was going to make my calls today and I did. I feel fucking great. Right? I said I was going to work out and I worked out. I feel great. That integrity with yourself, nobody can take that away from you. That's the shift that begins to happen that we teach. We call that identity shift. Okay. Because habits change your identity. Identity meaning your belief system, things you believe you can or cannot do. Because one thing we teach in Habit University is you are doing the things you do today because you either believe it or you don't believe it. So for you to change your action, you have to change your belief level in yourself, right? So you call it procrastinating, you call it putting things off. It's not because you're a bad person. It's simply because when you feel uncomfortable, you put things off because you feel like, oh, that's just the way I am. That's just the way I do things. Or I'm not an introvert. I'm not an extrovert. I hate the morning, right? These are limiting beliefs that people run on.
Yeah.
So So you just have to change those beliefs about yourself. And these 5 habits will help you change your beliefs about yourself little by little. That's what we teach. Little by little changes over time. Because remember, you didn't become overweight overnight. You didn't become broke overnight. You didn't become miserable overnight. Those things took years to happen. Okay. Right. So the same thing I tell my students in my program, welcome to my program. This is going to be a lifelong process because little by little, we're going to change your habits and change your identity.
Awesome, brother. So let's get right into it. I'm going to bring it up. What is number 1?
So number 1 is ironic. As I was telling you, it's wake up early. And the reasons why I say it's ironic, because I didn't wake up early today. I slept through my alarm. We have a standing meeting with Mike, my business partner, with the how-to guys at 7:30. And my phone was just ringing and it was next to my pillow because I fell asleep watching The Office last night. So not a good start to me getting on your podcast talking about waking up early.
This is over. That's it.
Over, man. But also I'm human, right? I teach people, guys, we're human. No one's a robot here, right? And this is what I do for a living. So, and I tell this to my students now. Now I feel the stress of the whole day now. I miss my workout. I miss my meditation. I missed everything now. And now the rest of my day now is crammed. This is awful. Now we're playing catch up. This is what agents have to prevent. If you wake up at different times every day and you have no control over that, and you're not waking up early in your business, and then your kids wake up, your wife wakes up, your husband wakes up, and then they start taking over your day, and you're running around just going to appointment. That is, and then you don't have time to do the prospecting. You don't have time to do the thing that you should be doing. That's the reason why waking up is so critical.
So, and I'm sure you've watched The Secret or read the book, right?
Yeah, correct.
And in there, I don't know if you remember, they have what was called the stub toe effect.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Where you wake up in the morning and everything's good until you stub your toe on the corner of that bed. And then the rest of your day is just shit. It's completely falling apart because of this one stub toe in the morning. And all you can do all day is complain about how your big toe hurts. Right. And that's basically what you're going through right now. And you are human. It's going to take a minute for you to kind of revamp yourself and get it back together. So let's go right into number 2. What's number 2?
Number 2 is obviously working out, right? We mentioned this, working out. Working out is so critical. Now, working out can be very different flavors for different people. Some people, it might be just do 1-minute air squats, right? Depends on your level of fitness. For me, it could be an hour working out at the gym. Whatever that is just getting your heart rate up. Changing your physical state is what it's for, because you need to be showing up at your level 10 self, and working out helps you out with that, right? It also helps you, obviously, the health benefits I don't have to even get into, but I'm just talking about the showing up, because working out is one thing that as an agent, you got to be at a level 10. Just working out, get your heart rate going. And then when you're talking to clients on the phone throughout the day, you're just at a higher peak, right? You're feeling better about things. And the thing is this, I recommend working out in the AM, because if you push it to the PM, like I'm going to today, this is awful.
May or may not happen.
May or may not happen.
It may or may not happen. And I'll tell you, I'm not a PM workout kind of guy, because if I work out, let's say 6, 7 p.m., I'm so pumped.
I know, man.
I can't fall asleep till 2, 3 in the morning. It's not going to happen. Then that just ruins the next day for me.
Yes.
Right?
No, and it's funny you said that, because someone, a speaker, trainer of mine years ago he goes, if you could take a pill that gives you more energy, more clarity, excitement, right? And that thrill of just doing more, when would you take that pill? Would you take it in the morning or would you take it at night? I go, take it in the morning.
Morning, yeah.
That's what working out is. So why the hell would you take it at night? I'm like, yeah, good point.
Good point. Yeah, I'm a workout in the morning kind of guy. My thing is this, like some people, they've got an issue waking up too early. Like wake up early is one thing, waking up too early is another thing, right? And in my case, we've got kids that got to go to school. Both my wife and I have to get ready for the day, et cetera, et cetera. So working out in the morning for us means waking up at 4:30, 4:45.
Wow.
That's our wake up time. We got no other choice. There's no other choice here.
There you go.
We need to be in the gym by 5:15 so we can leave by 6:15 and be back in the house and prepping kids and get the kids to school by 8. So where a lot of people are out there, oh, but I have kids and I have this and I have that. Like, I don't want to hear it. Wake up earlier. It really is that simple. Wake up earlier, put the kids to sleep earlier. They shouldn't be asleep. They shouldn't be awake at 10:30 anyway. Put them knuckleheads to bed by 9 o'clock, and then you go get some rest. You know?
Go.
All right. Number 3, you call it working in.
Working in. Because we're in such a workout society, guys, and I'm guilty of this more than anybody, right? Of being a college former athlete, right? And just always pounding the pavement, work hard, working out all the time. But that creates a lot of stress for us mentally that people don't realize. So working in is your being still moments. So it's your meditating, it's your journaling. Some of my students love prayer, and prayer to them is very critical, right? So it's the stopping moment. So working in, reflecting on your thoughts, reflecting on your day, journaling, writing down your thoughts. Even because remember, we get 60,000 thoughts a day, and a lot of them are not serving us, and a lot of them are not even true. A lot of them are not even ours, right? But until you write out your emotions out and your thoughts and your ideas, or you meditate, you got to find the way you like the most. But that's the working in. So you can kind of get that balance, right, on the inside part of you, because you won't become as reactive. Yeah, you'll be in shape working out, but when you work in, you're more at peace, right? You're more calm, which is great for me to learn because I'm always at an hour.
You're healthier here.
Yep. Absolutely.
In your brain, that makes a big difference.
It definitely does.
All right.
So definitely working in.
All right. Now your next one.
There you go. I'm doing the Facebook. I'm doing a live on my Instagram. So I just, there you go. All right. Number 4 is gratitude. Gratitude. So I got into the, to the habit of praying every night before I go to sleep. Doesn't mean that I'm super religious. I'm not. I'm more in the spiritual realm, right? But I do like that practice that religion does talk about, is getting on your knees and just being grateful for something. So for me, it works. I like doing that because it reminds me that I'm not here just for me, right? This is not about me. There's a bigger picture out there. I don't know what your belief levels are. It doesn't matter. It's more of just whatever's bigger than us, right? Which makes us serve better. So being grateful for who we are, what we have, the resources we do have. I know I was telling my mom a couple of days ago, I go, Mom, we have to focus more on what we do have instead of what we don't have, right? We live in a society where people are focusing on what they don't have, but then we overlook what we do have. So being grateful, I would recommend, if you're not praying, then journaling. That's fine. Journal, write down things you're grateful. One thing you're grateful for. You can do it daily, or just set an alarm on your phone that says, that's what I used to do before. I would set up alarms on my phone throughout the day that would say, that would ask me a question. What are you grateful for? So it would force me to answer that question myself. So that's a little tip there to help you become more grateful, and then have that question be sent to you via your phone. So you ask yourself, you know what, I'm grateful for the fact that I woke up late today, but the fact that I'm able to wake up, that's pretty awesome, right? Yeah. So little things like that. Grateful, gratitude.
Awesome, man. And then last but not least, for today's show.
You know this one, man. Yeah, I was going to say, all my students watching this are like, man, how come Andy hasn't talked about prospecting? Because that's all he freaking talks about, right? Because obviously I train real estate agents, and the number one habit of an agent is prospecting. Because I can give a crap about your CRM. I can give a crap about your scripts. I can give a crap about your strategies, your marketing campaigns, your website, your squeeze pages, your MLS experience, your comparable experience. I can give a crap about any of that. I would rather have an agent that comes on board with me that's prospecting every single day, because that agent will be successful. And that's the one thing agents do not do every day, is prospect every day. Because also what happens is, as an agent grows your business, they get lost in those activities instead of prospecting consistently, which got them to that level. And obviously you talk about this in your book, Take Action. Here comes the plug. You did an
awesome.
You did no plug right here, folks. Where you talk about money-making moves, man. Now I talk about that a lot. What money-making moves are you doing in your day? Are you busy in your day, or are you taking action on the activities that are truly driving your business forward, which is prospecting? That's why students
goes back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier when we were saying utilizing the minutes in your day appropriately. Yep. And that's exactly what we're talking about, money-making activities. And then so, I don't believe in dead time during the day. Like if there's dead time, prospect, right? Yeah. There's a million different ways to prospect sometimes. I think when people hear the word prospect, they think, now I got to get on the phone and cold call people.
Good point.
Not necessarily. That means that you strike up conversations on DMs on Instagram, strike up conversations on Facebook, scroll through Facebook and actually give a shit about what you're commenting about on other people's stuff. You know, create relationships, text people you haven't spoke to a long time, call people who you really want to speak to. That is all called prospecting. When we talk about when an agent comes up to me and says, man, I've exhausted my sphere of influence. What can I do?
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, what? I've been in the business 15 years and have yet to exhaust my sphere of influence. As a matter of fact, sometimes I feel like I'm not doing a good enough job with them. Yeah. You know, sometimes I feel like my personal sphere of influence, my inner core circle, my immediate freaking squad sometimes forgets what I do for a living.
That is so true, man.
Dude? You know?
Dude, that is so true, man. I have students right now. So we opened up our Spanish division for Habit University now. So now I'm translating all my and you know, and I'm noticing
you guys start the show at a tiki
right. We started off. But I noticed, man, I'm seeing and in Spanish, I'm telling them like, pero they're like, oh, Andy, I don't have anyone I can talk to. I go, are you kidding me? You have nobody to talk to. You have literally no one to talk to. In the age of technology, and be able to DM someone or comment with someone, like, come on, like these limiting beliefs, it's crazy how this
is crazy. And then I get so here we go, and I want to kill another limiting belief. Dave, listen, I just moved to Miami 4 months ago. I don't really have anybody. Okay, that's cool. Do you hold a real estate license? Yes. Where are you from? Mars? If you're from Chicago, right? There are people in Chicago that you do know. And if you call them and you say, hey, I'm in Florida, I got licensed in Florida. If you know anybody moving to or from Florida, please keep me in mind. However, if anybody in Chicago needs help, let me know because I got a guy. Right? I got a guy for that. Bro.
I got a guy.
Yeah, I got a guy.
Open up your trench coat, you know, and you just
yeah. But don't you want referrals? You know what I'm saying? Don't you want referrals? Don't you want people to say, hey, Andy, I'm in Chicago, you're in Florida, but I'm thinking about selling my house. Can you help me out? Absolutely, dude. Let's talk about your house. Let's get into the nitty gritty. Okay, let me make a couple phone calls. I'm going to interview a couple agents that I know up there to see who's the best fit for you. I'm going to refer them up there. Great. This whole process, by the way, is going to take you 30 minutes and you're going to make 25% of someone's commission just because you referred them. Do that 3 times a month, man. So you get, you know, and even when you get your business going in the state that you're in, then it doesn't matter. You become the resource. When people ask me, oh, where do you practice Florida? I'm like, Earth.
Yeah.
You need help somewhere on Earth? I might be able to help you out.
Amen. Amen. That's so true, man. That's so true.
So I want to go back to a couple tidbits because we do have a couple minutes left and I want to enjoy those minutes. So one of the things that I wanted to come back to this one, workout, right? So how do you believe, or do you believe that eating right also suits this particular subject?
Absolutely. Of course. You telling me about habits? I can only pick 5. But yes, I would say workout. We can say here like health and nutrition. Eating is so important. It's actually probably even more important than working out because I would say 70 to 80% of how you look and feel is what you're eating. So yeah, we'll add eating habits into that right there. Because last year I lost 30 pounds and a big reason for that was changing my identity and my relationship with food. That was the biggest habit I had to change, was because the moment I feel uncomfortable, the moment I feel stressed or happy, I would always reach out for junk food because I'm an emotional eater. That was my old identity. Now it's more like, no, I understand these emotions that come in. That was an old identity. I am in control of how I eat things, but that was an identity that shifted over years because being Hispanic, you know, grandma would always make me eat all the food at the dinner table. So I just have to eat things. Like I was the little brother that would do things. And it's funny how identities can run our life forever and you don't realize it and you call it, well, that's just the way I am. Bullshit. No, that's just your environment conditioning you a certain way and your habits changing. So now you got to slowly change that way back out. Right. So yeah, I would say eating is very critical to change.
That's Absolutely awesome. I'm glad you know, I wanted to bring that up. One of the things that that we did in my house, we went extreme. We went, and we're in phases right now, okay? Because we had a little bit of fish yesterday, but we went from full out eaters of everything, right? And so my mother-in-law and my mom are both infamous for coming up to me and going, "Is that all you're gonna eat?"
I know, man.
It's just that Latino flavor, right?
Yeah,
That's,
man.
you know, you're a man. You need food, you know,
red meat and potatoes,
you know. And so we went like 100% vegan for a few months, and then that went vegetarian because my wife missed cheese and I missed eggs. So it ended up turning vegetarian. And then every once in a blue moon, we'll throw in a little bit of fish. I don't do a lot of it, maybe a little bit, right? But we, like the other day, we went and had some oysters, you know? So I can't say that I'm full vegan, but what I will say is that when I did make change, it really changed the way I felt internally. I had more energy. And this is without the workouts. This is strictly attributed to what I'm putting in my body. So I'll put that out there. And then another thing that I kind of want to talk about is this one right here, gratitude. Do you tie this in with servitude, or do you believe that they're separate things to think about?
Servitude. No, that's another habit, man. I would say that's another one, right? Of serving and having that and that type of behavior and giving into people, right? Giving value, right? The same thing,
Right.
giving value, giving all that. Absolutely. That would be separate, I would say. But just as critical, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's critical. I think that it's sometimes if you're a type A ego personality, it's very difficult to understand servitude. But even if you could just flip the switch in your head and change the way you look at things a little bit, you'll realize that if you're a type A ego personality, you've been serving the community longer than you'll ever imagine by being successful, period. Because I don't believe that you can be extremely successful without gratitude and servitude in your ingredients, right?
Amen, man.
Yeah, man. So Andy, any last words that you want to leave for anybody? Listen, everybody is watching right now. On the bottom, it says welcome Andy Rosas, and it has his Instagram handle. So reach out, follow him, check him out. Mine is on the bottom as well. We went through 5 habits to ensure success. And we talked a lot about the real estate market because that's the realm that we're in. But if you read my book, you know that the way that we coach, it doesn't matter if you're selling lollipops, bicycles, or real estate, it's all the same shit. And this is, you know, the first book that we wrote, I wrote it with a very good friend of mine, Rudy Hernandez, owner of New World Title. And that book was really a testament to the foundation of work. It was called The Blueprint. And the reason we called it that was because we said without a blueprint, without an understanding of what holds up the house, right, then you're just building a house of cards on no foundation. Right. So your business is essentially going to fail, right? But when you look at the avenue of building a proper foundation and then acting on that foundation, then you're forever going to be successful at no matter what you do. You know, so you give your final thoughts. Something I like to do, Andy, give your final thoughts and I'll give mine.
So the final thoughts is this to everyone. And Davey nailed it with this is the blueprint, right? A foundation. Obviously I'll tie that into habits. Like literally, guys, habits I know is people are like, oh my gosh, like habits, that sounds great. But guys, habits are either ruining your life or running your life. Okay. So you're building it right now. You're slowly either building a good habit right now as we speak. Okay. Whether that's avoiding a conversation with your son or daughter, whether you have an hour of free time and you watch a little bit of a Netflix show, you feel a little stressed out, you buy some Haagen-Dazs ice cream, you miss one workout, it becomes 2 workouts, and you slowly start slipping into a bad habit or a good habit. So I really need you all to really pay attention to your behaviors and being aware, because if you don't change your habits or understand how habits work, your life is going to be a crapshoot. And your brain, remember, your brain and your habits don't give a shit about your goals. They don't give a shit about your outcomes and your goals. They just do what they do. Habits just do what they do. So if you feed it crap, it's going to give you crap. Your brain's going to go, oh, great, Nutella, let's eat it. Oh, great, look, ice cream, let's eat it. Oh, look, some Netflix, let's just watch it, right? It'll just do what you tell it to do. But if you understand how habits work, and then you start to be aware of your actions, and then you start controlling your habits, okay? And you start saying, wait a minute, I'm going to start actually now building good habits, so I become a slave to my good habits. Does that make sense? You are a slave to your habits. Whether they're good or bad, that's a whole different conversation. So you might as well build habits that you love, that are in integrity with the outcome that you want in your life. So then you become a slave to those habits. And then when people ask you, Andy, how come you're in so much in shape? How come you're so successful? How come you're this? It's you simply say, well, I just do what I do. Well, nah, shit, because you have the right habits built and you are just on autopilot. So that's the aha moment that I want people to understand. Successful people are not more motivated. They're not more structured. They don't have like this superpower. They just have habits that serve them, that they've built, and then they just ride that out. Okay. Yeah. That's how it works. So that's what I tell people. Now, I got a giveaway. I put the link on the chat for those there. Just go to howtoguys.com and I'll give you guys a free morning routine. Even if you're not a realtor, it doesn't matter. Get that freebie. Go to howtoguys.com, scroll down, and you'll see there it says morning routine for realtors. But even if you're not a realtor and you're watching this and you want a better morning routine, I am giving you my morning routine. I am giving you a top producer's morning routine. So take it. It's a thank you for you to go, oh, wow, I want to start getting more control of my day. I want to start changing my morning habits. Well, there you go. Okay. That's the first start of you changing your habits, is changing your morning routine. Okay. So download that, you'll have it. And then you can also reach out to me as well on Instagram and Facebook, which all the information's out there already with Andy Rosas or How To Guys.
Awesome, man. So I posted it on the different feeds as well. So if you guys missed it, howtoguys.com with the number 2, guys.com. So I do want to leave you with my final thoughts for the day. And this is it. As many of you have listened to me for time and time again and year after year, you know that I've challenged the idea of failing forward. I don't believe in failure. I think failure is a lie. I think if you Google, you Webster, or you do whatever it is, you look in a dictionary, the word failure means that you actually crawled into a corner, quit, and died. And so that is not what people do when they quote unquote fail forward. So if you could, for one moment, make it a habit to stop using the word fail. Take failure, throw it in the garbage. It is not you. It does not exist. It is a lie being fed to you so that you can keep buying other people's freaking programs. I call it the Tony Robbins effect. We talked about it earlier. You go to Tony Robbins, you walk on fire, you feel fantastic for 3 days, and then you leave. You bought some programs. You leave, and then you fall right back into your trap. You don't attend to any of the programs, and you don't take action on what's placed in front of you. What we talked about today, waking up early, working out, working in, gratitude, and always be prospecting. These are things that will help you become much more successful in your life. But should you have a hiccup, not a failure, a hiccup, you missed the gym one day, you didn't prospect one day, you just get right back up and you get back on the horse, you get back on the saddle, and you push forward again. Don't fall into the trap of saying, well, I didn't work out the last 2 days. Why am I going to go today? I've lost everything that I can lose. That is the definition of failure, my friends. Failure is a lie being fed to you. Don't allow it to take charge of your life. Whatever happens in your life, you can get back up and you can push forward. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, Andy, for being on the show with me. This was fantastic. And brother, it's always a pleasure talking to you.
Awesome, brother. You too, man. I love our conversations, man. We can take this anywhere. We just need some whiskey in our hands, Dom, right?
Then this would not be a 30-minute show. It would be a 30-hour show.
Great. I love it.
Fun. All right, guys. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
Take care, everyone.